What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Burnout Brighter. We are going to be talking all about Aztech Forgotten Gods, as this is going to be our review for the game, coming from developers Lienzo, who developed Mulaka a few years ago. Now, Aztech Forgotten Gods puts you in the shoes of Oxley, a young Aztec woman, as she has to go up against these monstrous, massive creatures who are coming in and attacking. If you're getting like Shadow of the Colossus-esque vibes, this is pretty much in that wheelhouse, except instead of, riding around on a horse and trying to climb up these monsters, you have a rocket arm that you're able to fly around the environments and be able to bring the fight to them. Now, Aztec Forgotten Gods has a bunch of cool ideas, but ultimately is just not really that good. The art style for the game is really cool. It has this like cyberpunk, but also Aztec-esque fusion of elements together, and it looks really, really interesting. Flying through the city, there are some really cool structural landmarks along the way that really just do look really awesome. Oxley herself has a fantastic design along with the characters around her. But the problem comes in with a lot of the presentation and gameplay elements. The game has no voice acting, but it does harken back to like the PS2 style grunts that kind of just you are used to punctuate sentences. They're not that bad at first, but they get increasingly aggravating just because you're just trying to read massive walls of text, because the areas in between the boss fights are just basically huge text blocks as you're walking around talking to characters and, just learning more about the world and the lore behind it. The game does a lot of just telling and over explaining and throwing information at you without really giving you much time to, actually digest it, on top of the fact that you just have these aggravating grunts along the way that it really does get annoying listening to this over and over again. I would have much preferred the game to either be fully voice acted or for these noises not to be there at all, because it just gets annoying. The gameplay itself has some really cool elements. There are moments when everything clicks and you're flying around with your giant rocket arm around the environments, dodging blasts from enemies as you're trying to get in close to be able to deal some damage. But the thing is that a lot of the mechanics just don't exactly line up together. When you're flying around, the amount of control that you have doesn't ever really feel like you're able to do exactly what you want to do. And the combat mechanics don't really fit in that well. When you go to initiate an attack, you'll have a QuickTime event pop up on screen, and you have to nail that QuickTime event very, very quickly to be able to continue to combo and to deal more damage. These systems aren't really explained, and the way that they come together is just a little more haphazard than anything else. You're usually just left guessing as you're trying to figure out the best way to handle a situation, and there are a lot of different abilities and moves thrown at you that don't ever really feel particularly useful. I kind of just got into the groove of getting as close as I can, charging my charge power attack and using that, and it would deal massive amounts of damage, but it didn't really ever click. When you're trying to combo, you're just trying to quickly mash buttons together to be able to do these things rather than actually trying to time it out properly, because the timing of it all just doesn't ever really fit in together. Along with the fact that these boss fights are just usually, okay, there's a big enemy over there, they'll shoot some blasts at you, then they'll do these massive wall with holes in it which you're trying to avoid, and then rinse and repeat. Having done about 4 boss battles, they don't really vary too much. The designs of the bosses themselves are really cool and really interestingly put together, but the actual mechanics of playing the game just don't really carry the weight. And again, the game doesn't really do much more than, okay, here's Oxley talking to people. Now she's going to go over to upgrade her equipment, which has an upgrade web, but you can pick whichever ones you want along the way as long as you have a previously story established upgrade. Like, there's no reason why it should have been this web. It could have just been a list of upgrades, because they don't really connect in a meaningful way. So once you'll upgrade, you'll go talk to somebody else, then talk to somebody else, then talk to somebody else, do a boss battle, and there'll be small enemies along the way, but the incentive is never really there to go up against these enemies. The whole thing just doesn't come together in a cohesive way. There are really cool ideas in Aztec Forgotten Gods, but unfortunately, as a total package, it just doesn't really work. I played on PS5 and I had no technical issues, but graphically it is not a very pretty game. It does look very much like something coming from out of the PS2 or PS3 areas. The textures are muddy. The entire presentation just doesn't really look good. And that's unfortunate because the art style itself is interesting. While the story can be interesting and the gameplay can be fun, it unfortunately doesn't really entirely come together into a cohesive package, making Aztec Forgotten Gods a hard game for me to recommend. It's available on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Microsoft Windows, Xbox One, and PS5. So you have plenty of opportunities to check it out if you so wish. Thank you so much once again to Stride PR for sending over a code for review. If you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, and share. Check out the rest of our videos. And we have more coming for you very, very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.